baseball fans. You're watching On Deck with Tyler Redmond.
Welcome into On Deck. I'm Tyler Redmond. As always, thank you so much for checking out the channel. I do appreciate it. While you're here, make sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and of course, hit the bell for notifications so that you can stay up to date with everything going on here at On Deck, and of course, with the Atlanta Braves and all across Major League Baseball. It's been an interesting week. There's been just a lot of talk about spring training, mostly around Major League Baseball. The Braves are no stranger to that. There's been a lot of interesting notes around spring training. Unfortunately, it's such a short spring training this year that, the typical talking points are limited. Usually we'd be talking about, who's going to prove themselves in spring training. And to be honest with you, before today, I didn't really think about this, but before today, I didn't realize that it's going to be such a small sample size, right? Like, we only have, another 2 weeks prior to opening day, if that. I mean, it's going to be a super small sample size. So I don't know if the opportunity to prove yourself necessarily is available in spring training. Not to say that it's completely gone, but it is significantly limited. Now, with that said, what I'm going to do in the first few minutes of the show is go through who I think are locks within the Braves right now. And to be honest with you, this is a very tentative list. This is a very temporary list. It's not one that's going to last forever. So your starters, obviously, the locks here, I mean, they're very obvious. Max Fried, Charlie Morton, Ian Anderson. Now, on the competing side, Kyle Wright, Kyle Muller, Tucker Davidson, Waskari Noah. I mean, you could throw Spencer Strider into that if you wanted to. A couple others maybe in the lower level, but this is a narrowed down version of what I think could actually be. Now, obviously, you'd probably have at least two more starters on the left side. So out of those four, you're at least going to have two. The Braves have hinted that they may go to a six-man rotation. Now, if you're asking me who I think the favorites are here, I think Waskari Noah is one. I haven't seen him perform necessarily. Kyle Muller had a good day the other day. It's going to be hard to see. I really think early on they're going to give, throughout the regular season even, they're going to give these guys opportunities. Probably start out with who did the best in spring training and then move from there. But the moment one of them fails, give the other one a shot at the starting rotation. But even then, I think all these guys are locks to make the roster. I really do, and you'll see that as we move later in the video. But I think all of these guys are locks for the Braves roster on opening day, because I think our pitching, whether or not they're in the bullpen or whether or not they're on the rotation, I think we're going to have innings to cover. Obviously, we're down two starting spots right there. We can carry extra pitchers on the 28-man. I really think that those guys are definite locks. Now, with that said, let's move to the bullpen. On the left, obviously, those are going to be your locks: Kenley Jansen, Will Smith, Tyler Matzik, A.J. Minter, Luke Jackson, Colin McHugh, and I'm going to throw in Sean Newcomb. And you might be looking at that with your eyebrow raised, but Sean Newcomb went through arbitration today. He got paid a little extra money. I definitely think he's a lock in some capacity. He may not make it to the roster for the full year, but I think opening day right now, that guy's going to be a lock. Competing, and these are, I think, majority, well, not majority, but I think a lot of these guys are going to be on the roster. But they are technically still competing. Darren O'Day, he signed a minor league deal. I think he'll be on the opening day roster, if I'm honest with you. But I can't put him there just yet. Spencer Strider's competing. Jose De La Cruz competing. Tyler Thornburg, Brad Brock, Dylan Lee, Jacob Webb. Now, Tyler Thornburg and Brad Brock were a part of Double A's big week last week, and I hope you guys enjoyed that video. We had a long talk about that. Those guys may or may not make the roster. Thornburg, we're not giving a whole lot to. 1 year, $900,000. He missed 2021 with Tommy John. Low-risk situation, but he is fighting for a spot. There's definitely spots to be had here, especially in terms of pitching. And Brad Brock, obviously, we talked about him the other day. Not a great 2021 at all, but he's looking to fight his way back. Maybe he's got a veteran approach, but for right now, this is the bullpen locks: Kenley Jansen, Will Smith, Matzik, A.J. Minter, Luke Jackson, Colin McHugh, and Sean Newcomb. No big surprise there. I think if you look on that right side, you're going to look at some guys and go, well, those guys should be locks. Probably. But for right now, we're too early on. And to be honest with you, again, such a small sample size in spring training. Going on from there, we're going to move into the position players. Position players on the left, it's just pretty, standard. Ozzy Albies, Matt Olson, Austin Riley, Dansby Swanson, Darno, Duvall, Rosario, Ozuna, and Manny Pena. Obviously, you're paying Manny Pena to be your backup catcher. I think we're paying him $8 million over the next 2 years. He will be the backup catcher. You have Contreras for depth if need be, but Manny Pena is definitely the guy that is a lock on opening day. Make no mistake about it. Competing, you got Alex Dickerson. He was another one of those guys we picked up in Double-A's big week. Other than that, you got Travis Demeritte. He's more than likely going to be in Triple-A, but he is technically competing. Guillermo Heredia, to me, is probably a front runner because of how much he contributed last year, how much the other players like him. I mean, it's his spot to lose is how I would word that. And I think the same goes for Orlando Arcia. Orlando Arcia is an infielder, but he's been playing a lot of outfield, which I find interesting. It makes me wonder, are they trying to find a spot for him in general, or are they just testing out and seeing what options they have in every spot? So, again, it's spring training. It's hard to fully grasp what the season's going to be, what the team's going to be throughout the year. But it is interesting that when you start breaking this down and you look at all the spots that are open, which is what we're going to look at right now. So the spots that are open, these are all the locks I just gave you. And I put, again, the starters I added on the end there, Huascar Ynoa, Tucker Davidson, Kyle Muller, Kyle Wright. I'm putting them on here because I genuinely think that those guys do belong. And by the way, Max Fried, Charlie Morton, Ian Anderson are going to be your 21, 22, and 23 as well. But yeah, so you're going to have 5 spots open, and that's where the competition lies. Ozzy Albies, Matt Olson, Austin Riley, Dansby Swanson, Adam Duvall, Eddie Rosario, Marcell Ozuna, Travis d'Arnaud, Manny Pena, Kenley Jansen, Will Smith, Matzik, AJ Minter, Luke Jackson, Colin McHugh, Sean Newcomb, Huascar Ynoa, Tucker Davidson, Kyle Muller, Kyle Wright, Max Fried, Charlie Morton, and Ian Anderson. So basically the way I feel about it right now is, again, competition. We've added a lot of, depth pieces. We've added a lot of big pieces too. But you also have a lot returning. We didn't even mention Kirby Yates because Kirby Yates is injured. Ronald Acuna is not on that list right now. He's injured. Mike Soroka, later coming back throughout the year, again, injured. Alex Anthopoulos has done a great job of piecing this team together. Obviously, with the replacement of Freddie Freeman and Matt Olson, that was a great move. But even after that, he had that big week last week where we signed Dickerson, Thornburg, Brock Holt. I mean, it was one guy after another. And I don't know that we're done yet. I don't know that that's necessarily what the situation is. But as of right now, I think we're basically at a point to where we have enough, but we could also add more.
Baseball fans, make sure you like and share this video and subscribe to this channel. As always, thank you for your support.